Welcome to the audiobook, The Lichen King's Mate, written by Bridget Marie, narrated by Melody Ross. Chapter 1. Ava's Point of View.
I can't decide between the taupe or beige napkins. What do you think, Ava?
I jerked my head up from the palm of my hand where I had been staring out the dining room window in a daze. I look over at my twin sister who's holding up two napkins that look identical to me. The one on the right? My sister makes a face.
Really? I don't know.
She grabs her cell phone and snaps a picture.
I better ask Caleb what he thinks.
I drop my chin back into my hand and sigh, my gaze drifting back to the open window. I have no idea why my sister insists on including me on her Luna commencement ceremony planning. She doesn't take any of my advice, and it's flat out painful to watch her make plans to spend her future with Alpha Caleb. Maybe that's why she does it, to rub it in my face that she's Alpha Caleb's mate, not me. I feel a familiar flip in my stomach, and the knot that always accompanies it in my throat. I blink several times and glance over at my sister. She's furiously texting away on her phone, a frown on her pretty face. Lily may be my twin sister, but we couldn't look or act more different. While Lily is tall, 5'10", super skinny, and has straight white blonde hair and blue eyes, I'm short, only 5'2", with dirty blonde wavy hair and green eyes. I'm skinny too, but I have more curves than my sister. My sister is actually pretty flat-chested, but you wouldn't know it with her super padded push-up bras. She's always cared more about her appearance than doing well in school, sports, or even fighting. She's the only female in the pack with acrylic nails and fake eyelashes. Her hair is perfect, never one hair out of place, and she always wears bright pink lipstick, short dresses, and super tall high heels. Caleb and I used to call her Barbie behind her back. I look back to the window and swallow back the lump in my throat. That was before he found out she was his mate. I'll never forget the day. It was 3 months ago, on our 18th birthday. Even though I usually just wear leggings and tees to school, I wore a cute green sundress for the occasion. Caleb always said he loved me in green because it made my eyes pop. I had carefully ran a straightening iron through my hair, put on some lip gloss, and raced downstairs to meet Caleb, who always drove me to school. And I just knew that we would feel our mate spark. I was so certain. Caleb and I had dated 4 years. He was 2 years older than me, but we had basically grew up together and had always been close. He asked me out when I was 14, and we were inseparable. I was there for him at every football game. I was there when his dad passed away. And I was there when he took over being alpha of our pack. We spent every single day together. I snuck out to meet him every night. When we weren't together, we were texting each other. We talked about everything together, shared all our thoughts and feelings. But on that morning of my 18th birthday, when I opened the door, Caleb froze. I watched in horror as he sniffed the air and stepped past me, where he looked up the stairs to see Lily. Lily, who looked beautiful in her hot pink mini dress and nude wedges, at the top of the stairs, staring back at him. Then I watched as my boyfriend of 4 years bounded up the stairs to embrace my sister in a long, passionate kiss. I leaned my head back, blinking furiously. "Get a hold of yourself, Ava."
Ugh.
Lily's high voice breaks into my thoughts again. She puts down her phone with a flourish and waves a perfectly manicured hand in front of her. She sticks her lips out in a pout.
I don't know why I even bother trying to include Caleb. He either never answers or just says, "Whatever you want, sweetheart." It's like he doesn't even care that the ceremony binds us together forever.
I flinch. He used to call me sweetheart, and the thought of them being together forever, oh God, it hurts.
Ava!
Lily elongates the first A in my name in a super whiny voice. I look up at her and she's staring at me with her lips still pouting.
You aren't even listening to me,
she accuses, wagging her finger at me.
This is important. important for you, too. It's important for the entire family that I'm becoming the Luna.
Lord help us all, I think, as she sticks her lower lip out even further, looking all of about 6 years old. This is how Lily is. She never liked to work hard, and discovered early on that if she looked pretty and asked nicely, she could always get her way. She never even had to participate in mandatory pack training. Basically, Caleb thought it would be a waste of a partner to make someone train with her. So Lily got her nails done and stayed on the sidelines to watch and compliment the unmated good-looking guys when it was finished. Not worried at all about taking care of herself. Some strong man would do it for her one day. I've never even seen Lily shift since she first could at 16. My first shift was at 14. She's probably worried it would mess up her nails.
Could you pretty please talk to Caleb for me?
She tilts her head and smiles at me as she reaches across the table to grab my hand.
Just tell him that it would be nice of him to show a little more enthusiasm. Tell him that I feel like he doesn't even love me when he acts like he doesn't care about my ceremony.
She bats her eyelashes at me and sticks out her lower lip. This is another thing Lily always does. She seems to think that the moment she made it to Caleb, that all my feelings for him and his for me just completely evaporated into excitement for her. She's always asking me to talk to him about their relationship, since we used to be such good friends. Well, maybe his feelings did evaporate for me, but it wasn't that easy for me. I still think about him all the time. I miss him, and I miss talking to him. Ever since he made it to my sister, we've barely talked at all, unless it was something Lily wanted me to ask or tell him, which I always did through text. Lily, Alpha Caleb is away fighting right now. I emphasize fighting. I feel like I'm dealing with a self-obsessed toddler sometimes. I try not to roll my eyes. I can't believe he's even texting you at all right now. Aren't you worried about him even making it home safely? Lily straightens up and flips her hair over her shoulder.
Of course I worry about him, but he's an alpha. He can take care of himself.
She waves her hand dismissively at me and then starts shuffling through different colored ribbons on the table.
He has 𝘫𝘪𝘆 to watch his back, too. He'll be fine.
She says this last bit casually, but she steals a glance at me to see my reaction to her mentioning 𝘫𝘪𝘆. She's been trying to set me up with Caleb's best friend and 𝘫𝘪𝘆 ever since she mated with Caleb. She keeps dropping all these hints on how perfect it would be if we both got to live in the pack house together. And oh, what fun we could have on double dates. No thank you. I will only ever see Ralph as the annoying third wheel on countless number of dates over the years. Not to mention, I know that Lily used to hook up with him. I mean, ew. No thank you. And I really don't find the idea of living in the pack house with my sister and my ex-boyfriend that appealing. I'll wait until I find my mate before I date anyone else. Or I'll just be alone forever. That's better than spending 4 years in love with someone just for them to mate with someone else. I sigh and watch Lily separating different color ribbons into sections in front of her. She glances up at me. Well? Well, what? She sags her shoulders and rolls her eyes upward.
Ava? Caleb?
Oh! I fiddle with a bronze napkin ring on the table. I hear Lily strumming her fingers impatiently on the table. Fine. I reach for my cell and hesitate. I look over at Lily, who's watching me. I sigh again. I click on Caleb's name, and I'm trying to decide what exactly I should say when all of a sudden, Caleb's voice is in my head. Ava? His voice is soft and slightly hesitant. Are you alone? I look over at Lily, who's back to studying the napkins. I stand up, pretending to be typing on my phone, go to the screened-in porch, and take a seat on the swinging bench, the same one Caleb and I spent cuddled on or making out on countless nights. Yes, I'm alone. There's a pause. We have visitors coming tomorrow. I'm surprised, but I try to keep it out of my thoughts. Who? Are you on your way back? No, we can't leave yet. We were instructed to stay here and wait for reinforcements. Instructed? Since when is an alpha instructed? Another pause. Yes. We came to help the Blue Moon Pack defend itself against the Red Knight Pack. But it looks like the Red Knight Pack has reinforcements, and they're pretty fierce and growing fast in numbers. Now they've caught the attention of the elite.
The elite? The Lycan Royals? I'm shocked. The Red Knight Pack must be gaining a lot of power to draw the Lycans down from the north. But what does this have to do with visitors coming here?
King Cameron will be bringing some of his pack to stop over on the way to joining us.
The Lycan King Cameron? Here? I start to feel panicky. We've never had any Lycan royalty here before. Now the king himself?
Ava, I know you've helped plan a lot of visitors before.
I've never heard Caleb be so hesitant when speaking before.
I was wondering if you could help Lily prepare for the guests.
Of course.
And it's the longest pause yet. Can you make sure Lily wears something appropriate?
Chapter 2. Ava's Point of View. I'm watching Lily running around the Great Hall. It's been 3 hours since Caleb told me about the visitors, and Lily hasn't blinked since. When I told her that Lycan King Cameron would be here tomorrow at 11, and that she would be expected to act as host, she dropped the napkins from her hands, her face ghost white, and started squealing, "Oh my God!" over and over. It took about 30 minutes to snap her out of it, and I've been gently guiding her through all the preparations. The thing about Lily is, she wants the help, but she doesn't always want to know that you're helping. She really wants to be a good Luna and have the respect of the pack, but she doesn't have a clue on how to host, let alone a Lycan King. I mean, hell, I don't even know how to host a Lycan King. But I have been making little suggestions quietly to Lily, and she has been repeating them to the chef, maids, and the council. The Lycan clan will have a buffet lunch, catered dinner, nice clean bedrooms for the night, and a quick breakfast before heading out early the next day. It's a custom to host a welcome celebration for visiting packs, but given the circumstance of this visit, we decided to host a nice but more casual-style dinner instead. I also had Lily add extra members to the patrol. We want to look like a strong pack while our alpha is away. I quickly volunteered the night shift. I don't sleep well anymore anyway, and I'll be back in time to help get Lily ready in the morning. I watch as Lily looks around the Great Hall with a manic expression on her face. She turns to me. "Do you think it looks okay?" "Oh my goodness, King Cameron!" She shakes her head in disbelief, her eyes wide. "What was Caleb thinking, inviting him here while he was gone?"
Well, I don't think Caleb had much of a choice in the matter, Lily. My guess is he'd probably rather be here than off fighting some vicious pack. My sarcastic tone goes right over her head.
"Well, maybe if it goes well, King Cameron will come back afterwards for the Luna ceremony."
Lily nods her head, her eyes getting a dreamy look to them.
"Oh, can you imagine? Daphne would just die if we had royalty at the ceremony."
Daphne was Lily's frenemy growing up. She made it to a beta at a neighboring pack before Lily made it to Alpha Caleb. Lily was super pouty about Daphne getting such a powerful mate that she wasn't even going to go to their mate ceremony until she mated with Alpha Caleb. Then she was more than happy to show up in a slinky pale pink dress on her new Alpha's arm. "Well, you have this under control. I'm gonna go get ready for my shift." Lily nods absently. I'm not sure if it's at me or if she's just nodding at the thought of having a Lycan King at her Luna ceremony to make everyone jealous. I hurry out of the hall and start running when I reach the road. It's a short jog to our house, where I let myself in the front door, up the stairs to my bedroom. I change into small black athletic shorts and an old gray tank top before throwing my hair into a messy bun on top of my head. I catch a glimpse of myself in my mirror and feel a fresh wave of pain. I wore this outfit on countless patrols with Caleb. Shake it off, Ava. I take a deep breath and rush down the stairs, slipping my feet quickly into tennis shoes and taking off at a run to the patrol meeting spot in the woods. I love running through the forest, in human and wolf form. It's such a freeing feeling. Caleb and I used to go on runs together. We'd run to his aunt's abandoned house on the outskirts of town so we could be alone. I shake my head as I reach the meetup spot. I can't keep thinking about him. It hurts too much, and I really don't want anyone seeing these thoughts while we patrol and mind-link together. Kevin is waiting for me in the clearing, where we always meet up to start our patrols. He's an older man with graying hair, too old to go off to fight other packs, but still able to handle his own against the occasional lone rogue. I nod at him as I walk over, and he nods back. Annie and Dave have already left. You can cover the south side tonight. I'll take the west. Meet me back here at 5. I nod in acknowledgement and go behind a tree to take off my clothes before shifting to my white furred wolf. I can feel my spirits lift as I bound through the forest, no longer thinking about Caleb or Lily, just letting my mind be blank. I spend the next several hours letting my mind stay that way, running around the forest, listening and smelling for anything out of the ordinary, enjoying the feel of the forest floor on my paws. 5 comes fast. I meet up with the others in the clearing, go behind a tree to get my clothes on, and say a quick hi and bye to the new shift. I run back home to get ready for the day. I made a promise to Caleb that I would help Lily today, which means I don't have much time. As soon as I get home, I shower, dress quickly in a modest pale blue dress, and go to Lily's room. I knock and open the door at the same time. Lily is still in bed, a hot pink sleep mask covering her eyes. "Lily!" I whisper loudly and poke her arm. She grunts but doesn't wake. "Lily!" I poke her harder and she wakes up, pushing her eye mask up. "We need to get ready for the visitors." Lily sits upright and her face turns to panic. "King Cameron!" She squeals and jumps out of bed. It takes a lot of back and forth, but I finally convince Lily into a light pink fitted dress that has a modest top and goes to her knees, instead of the skin-tight hot pink mini dress with side cutouts. She still looks amazing, but she isn't revealing nearly as much skin as she usually does, which is what I think Caleb was hoping for. Her straight white blonde hair is half up, pulled in a sophisticated hairdo with a diamond-covered clip holding it in place, and her huge diamond stud earrings exposed. She looks stunning. She looks like a Barbie doll. We're about to head to the pack house, just waiting on Lily to grab her purse, when I catch a glimpse of myself in the hall mirror. I didn't even take time to blow-dry my hair, and I'm regretting it as I look in the mirror at my big wavy hair looking like a wild mane around my face. I open the drawer to a little catch-all dresser under the mirror and rummage around for a hairband. I find one and pull my hair back into a quick loose braid down my back. Lily comes into the hall and looks up from her purse. "Oh, Ava! Your hair!" She looks wide-eyed at my freshly done braid. "You really should leave it down. It looks like you slept on it in that braid. It's all loose and falling out. I think we have time for you to straighten it." "It's fine, Lily." I walk towards the door. "No one will be looking at me anyway." Lily's face went from a critical frown to a smile instantly. "Oh, you're right, Ava. I'm sure King Cameron will be wanting to talk to the future Luna." She walks to the door and stops expectantly. I roll my eyes and step in front of her to open the door for her. "Let me get that door for you, Your Highness." Once again, the sarcasm goes unnoticed. Lily giggles as she walks through the door. "Oh, Ava, I already have a mate, remember? Otherwise, I'm sure King Cameron and I would really get along." I throw my head back in an epic eye roll as I follow her through the door. "How could I forget you already have a mate? I only dated him 4 years before you took him from me." I shake my head and catch up to Lily as we walk to the pack house together, Lily holding onto my arm to keep her steady in her 4-inch high heels on the uneven pavement. She's a foot taller than me in them. She used to complain all the time when I insisted on always wearing flats while she wore heels. Being 8 inches taller than me already, she said we looked weird next to each other. She changed her mind as she got older, though. She liked having everyone looking at her, the tall beauty, instead of the plain shorty next to her. When we reach the pack house, we pause. People are frantically running around doing last-minute touch-ups.
No, no!
Lily squeals at a young girl putting white tulips on a table. The girl pauses and looks terrified as Lily hurries toward her, her high heels clicking loudly on the floors.
I said I wanted pink roses!
I walk over to the buffet table that still has coffee out. I'm going to need a lot of this today after my all-nighter. I mix a ton of cream and sugar into my coffee cup and watch my sister freaking out on all the helpers. I'm just wondering if I might be able to sneak away for a short cat nap when Kevin rushes in the room. Lily, they're here. They arrived early. I'm so shocked that I accidentally sloosh my coffee down my dress. Shit. I hastily grab some napkins and start dabbing away blindly while I look over at Lily. She's frozen in shock, hand in the air, her finger still pointing at a table she was apparently telling someone they had set up incorrectly. Lily! I hiss loudly and wave her over to me. I need her to pull herself together. I told Caleb that I would help her, and I don't want him to be let down. Lily comes to with a shake of her head and takes quick clicking steps toward me, her eyes wide. I throw the napkins on the table and walk towards the door, still waving her over so we can meet the visitors at the entrance. Lily is almost to my side when it happens. I smell something I had never smelt before, and it was the most wonderful and enticing scent in the world. I stop walking as I watch a group of the largest men that I have ever seen striding through the door. All are nearly 7 feet tall. All are extremely handsome, and every single one is incredibly intimidating. About 8 of them walk in and step aside to make room for the largest man of all to walk through. He was easily 7 feet tall, and the most gorgeous of them all. He wore a green dress shirt that was fitted against his wide shoulders and huge arm muscles, and tucked in at his slim waist into dark wash jeans. He has dark brown hair with just a slight wave to it, intoxicating big hazel eyes that were incredibly intense, high chiseled cheekbones, and kissable full lips. He keeps walking purposefully past his men, his eyes meeting mine. I'm frozen in place. I feel like the closer he walks to me, the more likely I am to melt into the floor, and I can't stop staring at him. He walks all the way up to me, his eyes blazing into mine, wraps an arm around my waist to pull me up and against him, and growls, "Mine." Chapter 3. Ava's Point of View. What is happening? I'm nearly being crushed by this giant of a man. He has me pulled against his hard chest, my arms pinned to my sides, my feet off the floor. One of my flats has fallen off, and the other is dangling from my toes. He has one arm wrapped around me, holding me up, and the other is gripping the back of my neck, his face nestled into my hair. My face is pressed into his chest, and I inhale his delicious scent, and all I can think is, mate. But who is this? Who is this giant man who apparently is my mate? He has to be a part of the Lycan clan, which explains his giant stature and stunning good looks. I inhale deeply again. My head feels slightly foggy, like I've had way too much to drink. I want to look at the stranger's gorgeous face again. I try a little wiggle. Someone behind us gives a little cough. He loosens his grip on me and lets me slide down his long, hard, muscular body until my feet hit the floor, my body tingling like crazy. I look up into his gorgeous face, and I sway a little. He wraps his giant hands around my waist to steady me and lowers his head to take me in just as much as I am him. This is my mate? Oh my God! He is the most beautiful man on the planet. Not just a man, a Lycan. I reach my hand up without thinking and touch his chiseled cheek. Electricity runs through my body, and I bite my lip at the sudden desire I'm feeling towards this stranger. His eyes darken, and he pulls me closer. There's another slightly louder cough behind us, and I pull my hand back. He grabs my hand tightly with his and stands up straight, turns around, and looks around the room. I begrudgingly tear my eyes away from him and follow his gaze. My eyes fall on Lily, standing just 4 feet away from us. Her eyes are huge, and her mouth is open while she stares at us.
Ava?
Lily stammers as she gawks at us.
Are you Luna, Lily?
My Lycan's voice is deep and sexy. His words are slow and deliberate, authoritative. I feel my knees going weak. His grip on my hand tightens. Lily closes her mouth and looks at my Lycan. She seems to shake herself awake.
Yes, I'm Luna Lily.
She takes a couple of clicking steps towards us with her hand outstretched. My Lycan looks at her hand, and after an embarrassingly, for Lily, long pause, he shakes it. I've never seen Lily so flustered. It's defiantly the first time I've seen her blush.
Welcome!
Lily's voice is high-pitched.
Thank you for your hospitality. We will need 15 beds for the night. The rest of my men will keep patrol around the village overnight.
Lily nods, her mouth open again, a very confused look on her face. I'm confused as well. Where is King Cameron? I lean forward to look around my new mate to see if I could tell which one he is. Is he even here?
If someone could show my men to their rooms, I'll have...
He turns to me.
What is your name?
Ava. My voice sounds weird, quiet and scratchy, like I haven't actually talked in days. The man looks at me for a moment.
Ava.
He repeats my name, and my name has never sounded more beautiful than when this man says it. I never thought of myself as a swooner, but I actually feel like this man is making me swoon. He turns back to Lily.
I'll let Ava show me to my room.
He turns and nods to the other men before turning back to me, raising an eyebrow and gesturing for me to lead the way. I glance over at Lily, who's still standing in the same spot, looking more confused than ever. Her eyes sweep the men around the entrance and back to us. Her eyes go huge, and she puts her hand over her mouth. What is her problem? I turn away, my mate still holding my hand, and make my way to the large staircase down the hall that leads to the visitor's wing. The way my mate talked to Lily made it seem like he had some authority. Maybe he's a 𝘵𝘩𝘏 or some council member to the king. It's important that I know so I can put him in the right guest room. As we climb the stairs, I look up at the gorgeous man holding my hand. He's looking back at me. I nearly miss a step. We make it to the top floor landing, and I stop. What's your name? My voice still sounds small and quiet. A look of amusement comes across his face. He tilts his head to the side as he looks at me.
You don't know who I am?
I'm confused again. Why would I know who he is? Lycans and werewolves rarely socialize with each other. The elites throw elaborate parties every year for some of the larger and more powerful packs, but our pack has never received an invitation. The only thing we know about the elites are the things we hear secondhand from other packs. I'm sorry, I've never been north to the elite village. I trail off awkwardly. Whoever my new Lycan mate is, he is very intimidating. He looks at me for a few moments longer before speaking.
I'm King Cameron.
Oh my God! I instinctively take a step backwards. King Cameron watches me. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I'm stammering like an idiot. I glance wildly around me. I feel a sudden urge to hide my embarrassment.
No need to apologize.
He doesn't move, just watches my face. I can feel my face flaming red, and I clumsily pull at my dress, noticing the large, wet, dark coffee stain for the first time. No! I finally meet my mate, and it's a frickin' Lycan king, and I have a huge coffee stain on my dress. I swipe unconsciously at it, and that's when I realize I never put my other flat back on. Oh my God! I'm only wearing one shoe! I nervously go to run my hand through my hair and remember too late that it's in a braid, which I can feel I just messed up beyond its already sloppy state. So, just to make sure I totally have a grip on my reality right now, I have just mated to the most stunningly gorgeous Lichen King, and I'm standing here with a huge stain on my dress, only wearing one shoe, and God knows what my hair must look like, but we can safely assume not good. Oh, and I'm stammering like an idiot. The urge to escape the situation is overwhelming. I glance towards the stairs. King Cameron puts his hand under my chin and turns my face towards his.
I believe you were showing me to my room.
My stomach does a flip at his touch, a mixture of excitement and nerves. Not trusting myself to speak in coherent words, I nod and take a couple steps towards the guest alpha suite. I figure it's better to be barefoot than a moron walking around in just one shoe, so I try to discreetly kick off my one flat as I walk. It catches on my toe after the first kick, so I quickly kick out my foot harder, and the flat flies off and hits the leg of a side table with a surprisingly loud thud. I want to die. I don't dare look at King Cameron. I can feel my ears burning with humiliation. His thumb starts to round circles on the back of my hand, and I feel a wave of desire flow through me. He leans down and whispers in my ear,
"One less thing for me to take off of you later."
Chapter 4. Ava's Point of View. I reach the door to the guest alpha suite and hesitate. I look up at King Cameron, who raises an eyebrow at me. I bite my lip and turn back around to open the door, letting it swing wide and stepping aside to let him go through first. I mean, he is a king. I guess that's something I should do. King Cameron tilts his head at me and chuckles, waving his hand in front of him to indicate that I should go first. I'm feeling nervous to be in his bedroom alone with him. At the same time, eager excitement is coursing through me at the thought of him touching me, maybe even kissing me. I walk into the bedroom 3 steps when I'm lifted off of my feet. King Cameron has one hand under my knees and the other behind my back, holding me against his rock-hard chest. I timidly wrap my arms around his neck, inhaling his amazing scent. He sits down on a pale blue love seat facing a huge bay window, keeping me on his lap, but grabbing both my ankles with one giant hand and bringing my legs across his lap onto the couch and turning me to look at my face. His eyes are dark as he puts his hand to my forehead and trails his fingers lightly to my cheek, my nose, across my lips. I gasp quietly as his fingers trail softly down the side of my neck. I stare into his eyes, feeling lightheaded again, swaying slightly. I grasp onto his shirt. His eyes follow his hands as he moves them from my neck down to my collarbone, where he runs them back and forth between moving his fingers lightly down and back up my arm. I can't hold back a little shiver of pleasure as I feel a pressure starting to grow in between my legs. I wiggle my bottom a little. His fingers pause for a moment, and his eyes meet mine. He gives me a knowing smirk, and his fingers and eyes move back to my collarbone, where he teases his fingers before moving them lower, where he plays with the neckline of my dress. His eyes meet mine again, and he raises an eyebrow. I bite my lip and silently beg him to keep going. He moves his fingers to the side of my dress, gently caressing the side of my breasts with the back of his fingers, before running his fingers all the way down my sides to my hips, where he lingers a few moments, pulling the bottom of my dress up slowly to reveal the top of my thighs. I feel like I'm going to explode with desire for this man. All I can do is clutch his shirt and watch his fingers as he touches and explores all my curves with his fingers and eyes. His fingers move to my thighs, and his touch makes me ache in between my legs and arc my back against his hand that's been helping to hold me up. He gently caresses his fingers all the way down my thigh to my toes, then back up my other leg, and stops when he gets to my upper thigh.
Ava.
I'm breathing heavily as I look away from his fingers and into his eyes. He brings a finger under my chin and leans closer. It's like fireworks are exploding in my head as his lips meet mine. I move my hands up to cling to his shoulders while I press against him. He deepens the kiss, pushing my lips apart with his tongue and exploring the insides of my mouth. I can't help a moan escaping against his mouth. He moves his hands to my bottom and lifts me up and repositions me so I have one knee on either side of his hips. I wrap my arms around his neck and grab his hair with my hand, pressing my breasts into his chest while trying to deepen the kiss even more. He cups my bottom and squeezes me against him. I can feel his hard, massive erection through his jeans, and I give another moan. Now, one of his hands is moving up my dress, and he puts a finger on the inside of the top of my panties, running his finger back and forth softly. I press down against his erection, desperate for more skin. King Cameron tugs down on my panties, and there's a knock on the door. It's like a spell have been lifted, and I jerk back with a jump. A little too big of a jump. I lean dangerously far back, my arms flailing, a small high-pitched squeal escaping my lips, before King Cameron places his hand on my back again to catch me. I can tell my face is burning again as I look at him. He has his eyebrow raised and a huge smirk on his face. Well, isn't he cocky? I sit up, pulling my dress straight and pushing back my hair as someone knocks again. King Cameron doesn't move. He just watches me with amusement. "Aren't you going to get that?" I ask in a more accusing tone than I had meant. He looks at me, still smirking.
"If you insist. Come in."
It isn't quite a yell, but a deep, firm, carrying tone that the person behind the door must have had no problem hearing, as I hear the doorknob turning. I quickly scramble off his lap, wondering if my face will ever not be beet red around this man. I pull my dress down around my knees, and I'm tucking stray hairs behind my ears when I hear a familiar voice.
"King Cameron, I'm so glad you have arrived at our village. I would love to have a quick update with you on the Red Knight pack."
I'm thankful for the high-backed love seat that keeps me hidden from the visitor. I sink lower into the couch cushion as King Cameron gives me another amused look before standing and facing Alpha Caleb.
"Alpha Caleb, I'll be happy to meet with you for an update. Would you care to take a seat?"
No, 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 no! I am mortified. This cannot be happening. What is Caleb even doing here? He's supposed to be away at the Blue Moon Pack. Now he's going to find me after just making out with a guy I met 5 minutes ago? A Lycan king at that. I cover my face with my hands and sink even lower.
"Actually, maybe it would be more comfortable in your office."
What? I spread my fingers to peek at King Cameron, who gives me a tiny, discreet wink.
"Absolutely. I'll show you the way. I'll meet you there in 5 minutes." Sure."
Caleb sounds taken aback, but says nothing else, and I hear the door shut shortly after. Oh my God! That was too close. I need to pull myself together.
"Care to fill me in?"
I drop my hands from my face and see King Cameron watching me in complete amusement. Once again, I think about how ridiculous I must look to him, completely slouched on the couch, my knees higher than my head, my dress riding up, my hair sticking out. And he looks perfect. His shirt is still unwrinkled, his hair perfectly in place despite my hands running through them just moments before, and that constantly amused look in his eye. Why in the world would he be mated to a nobody like me? I swallow and sit back up, tugging down my dress once again. I just met you. He's my alpha. King Cameron tilts his head while he looks at me. Was your alpha. He leans over and grabs my hand to help me up. Now you're with me. You'll be my queen. What? Queen? My head is spinning. This is way too much to take in so fast. I cannot be a queen, especially of a lichen clan. Does he expect me to go up north with him? Well, duh, Ava. Mates generally follow each other, and a lichen king isn't going to stick around some small and irrelevant werewolf pack and leave behind his own lichen clan. I'm unconsciously chewing on my lip, a bad habit I have. King Cameron lifts his finger up to press against them, and I stop, looking up at him. Wait here for me. I'll be back up shortly. He leans down and brushes my forehead with his lips. We have a lot to discuss. He smirks at me and leaves me weak-kneed, watching him leave the bedroom before I collapse back on the love seat. Chapter 5. Ava's Point of View. Okay, deep breaths. I chew on my fingernails while I try to get a grasp on my new reality. I found my mate. My mate is basically a god. A beautiful, huge, lichen king god. I throw my hands against my forehead and let out a groan. There is no way this is going to work. He's way too good looking for me. Way too powerful and important. It's only a matter of time before the newness and excitement of finding his mate wears off and he realizes how plain, boring, and completely not queen material I am. Will the mate bond be strong enough to keep him interested in me? I lower my hands down my face and squeeze my cheeks with my fingertips with another groan before I stand up. I can't just sit here. I catch a glimpse of a mirror across the room and take a step towards it before hesitating. Oh God, do I even want to see what I look like? I slowly walk over to take a look and let out another groan of misery when I see my reflection. Oh my God, I am a train wreck. My hair looks like I just got caught in a tornado. It is kind of still in a braid at the very bottom, but the top layers are in a wavy, poofy disaster all around my face and shoulders. It is completely out of control. My dress is wrinkled and twisted in weird areas, and the coffee stain, oh no, it's huge, massive. It covers most of the front of my dress, and I cannot believe King Cameron didn't say anything to me about it, because there is no way he missed it. In fact, how did it not spread to his shirt? I can still feel the dampness when I pull at it. I chew on my thumbnail for a moment while studying my reflection. I need to go change super quick, and I need shoes. I glance at my bare feet, wishing I had went with my sister when she asked me to come along to get a pedicure a couple of days ago. I also wish I had listened to her and straightened my hair, or even put on some makeup. Okay, I grab the hair tie out of the bottom of what is left of my ridiculous excuse of a braid and quickly throw it into a sloppy bun, and my mind made up, I walk briskly to the bedroom door. I'll sneak out super quickly. I can run home and change, throw on some mascara, brush my teeth again, straighten my hair a bit, and rush back. I'm sure he'll be with Alpha Caleb for long enough. As I creep down the hall, I remember I put my cell phone on the coffee table. I'll grab that on the way out. I'm sure Lily has been blowing up my phone. I see my discarded flat by the end table and pick it up, making a note to grab the other one on the way out too. Maybe I can find out why Caleb is back sooner than expected when I get my phone. What happened to change the plans? He didn't even let me know. Well, why would he? We don't have that kind of relationship anymore. I wait for the familiar knot in the throat, but it's not there. Just a tiny little flip in my stomach, but not nearly as intense as before I met King Cameron. My stomach gives a huge lurch at the thought of King Cameron. What if he decides he doesn't want me as his mate? What if I fall head over heels in love with him, and he ends up rejecting me? I clutch the railing at the end of the stairs as I'm suddenly filled with waves of pain, and I feel tears forming against my eyes. I can't even think of that. I swipe at my eyes and move quickly to the hall to grab my phone, trying to push away all these emotions that are trying to overtake me. I peek into the hall and notice it's empty, except a few younger pack members talking excitedly at a table at the far end of the room. I run quickly to the coffee table, grab my phone, and keep running, swooping up my other discarded flat as I cross the entrance. I reach the door and take one step out when I collide with a wall of concrete. I grunt in pain and start to fall backwards when the wall grabs my shoulders. I look up at the wall and see it's one of the lichens. He has light brown hair and cold, dark blue eyes. He looks at me in an unfriendly way that makes me slightly terrified of him.
Ava, King Cameron wishes for you to wait in his room.
Oh! I try not to wince at his pressure on my shoulders. Is he meaning to squeeze so hard? I was going to go change really quickly and come back. I trail off as his face stays cold and unchanging. Okay, well, aren't the friendliest lot, are they? I try looking around me desperately for someone I know. I see two more lichens standing about 15 feet away, watching our interaction. Neither are smiling. I feel like a little kid being told I need to raise my hand to go to the bathroom. I chew on my lip and crane my neck to look up. You can walk me home if you want, but I'm uncomfortable in this dress and would like to change. I pull my dress away from me with 2 fingers and wave my other hand that holds my cell and shoes in a vague circle in front of me to make him look at the stain. And you're hurting me, I add defiantly, staring into his eyes that had briefly looked at my dress and back up to my face. I watch his eyes go blank for a brief moment and realize he must be mind-linking with King Cameron. I try not to flinch at the growing pressure on my shoulders and cross my arms in front of me, tapping my bare foot against the porch floor. His eyes clear and he looks down at me. I try not to shiver. He nods to himself, and the next instant, I'm lifted into the air and over his shoulder. Hey! I drop my shoes and phone in surprise and push against his back with my hands to hold myself up. Hey! Put me down! He ignores me and takes quick, long steps back into the hall and towards the staircase. My phone! My shoes! I point at them in vain. He doesn't see. He doesn't care. I notice the younger pack members in the hall have all stood up to watch me being carried across the hall. I feel my face flaming red and reach behind me to hold my skirt tight against my legs to make sure I'm not exposing myself. This is humiliating. I'm carried up the stairs, down the hall, and into the Alpha suite, where I'm dropped back into the love seat, not exactly gently. I glare up at the man that I now totally despise, and he puts his hand back down on my shoulders, pressing me down into the cushions. I wince.
Stay here,
he growls at me, glaring menacingly at me before turning and going to stand in front of the bedroom door. For real? I rub my shoulders as I glare at the man behind me. I start to turn back around when my eyes catch sight of the white landline phone at the guest desk in the corner of the room. I start to stand up, then hesitate, glancing back at my guard. I clear my throat. He looks at me. I'm going to get up and make a phone call to my sister. I was supposed to help her with some things today, and she'll be worried about me. His face is hard and expressionless as he stares at me. I tap my fingers on the back of the couch that I'm leaning against while looking back at him. Does silence mean okay? I mean, since when does a person need permission to make a freaking phone call? This is ridiculous. I turn around and stand up, not looking over at Mr. Scary Guy while I make my way over to the phone. I take my time walking around the desk, and when he doesn't move towards me, I pick up the phone and quickly dial my sister's cell. Hello? My sister answers the phone in a small, confused voice. She sounds slightly frazzled. Lily! For some reason, I let out a sigh of relief. It's me!
Oh my God, Ava! She elongates the first A in my name. Her voice is high and dramatic. Tell me what happened when you went upstairs with King Cameron. I've been texting and calling you, and you haven't answered. Is he really your mate? He is so gorgeous and kind of scary. They're all kind of scary, actually. Don't you think? She's talking fast and not giving me time to speak. I glance over at Scary Guy, and he's rolling his eyes. Like in hearing. He can hear everything she's saying. I turn my back to him and sit down on the edge of the desk and lower my voice. Lily, I dropped my phone. It's by the front entrance door on the porch. So are my shoes. Your shoes? Lily sounds really confused. Why are your shoes outside? Why did you leave your phone there? You should have kept it with you. You knew I needed your help today. And now Caleb is back. I know, I saw him, I say without thinking. You saw Caleb? How? Lily sounds suspicious. I mean, I saw him for like a second before he ran off to see King Cameron. Did he go to find you too? No, Lily. I'll fill you in later. Listen, could you do me a favor? A favor? Lily sounds offended. Really, Ava? Can you not see how overwhelmed I am today already? I can't believe you would even ask. I throw my head back in frustration. I know, Lily, and I'm sorry, but I'm a little tied up at the moment. I glance behind my shoulder at Scary Guy. Is there any possible way you, or maybe you could send someone to grab my shoes and sell, and possibly a change of clothes from the house, and bring them... I hesitate. Bring them to Cameron's room? There's a squeal on the line. Oh my God! So you were hooking up with him? I can't believe it! Is he really your mate? She sounds nearly hysterical, and I can feel Scary Guy's smirk and my face turning red again. I really can't talk right now, Lily. I cut her off. But if you could just do that for me, or send someone else to, I would really, really appreciate it. I guess I'll try. Thanks, Lily. Bye. I hang up before she can ask any more questions. I hear Scary Guy snort. I look over at him, and he has a smirk on his face as he looks at me. She's the biggest airhead that I've ever seen. How in the world is she your Luna? Okay, now I know that my sister is a huge airhead. I'm totally guilty of thinking what a horrible Luna she will be several times myself. And I might roll my eyes at her about 10 times a day, but she's my sister. And it's not okay for some random asshole to talk bad about her to me. I hop off the desk and stick my chin up, my hands on my hips, glaring daggers at him. She is not an airhead. She's very kind, and she's very... I hesitate slightly. And she's my sister. I finish lamely. So don't you talk bad about her. I wave my finger at him. He laughs and shakes his head. Whatever you say, Ava. He elongates the first A. Something about the way he says my name makes my hair stand on the back of my neck. I turn away and look back at the phone on the desk. Where's King Cameron? I don't like being left alone with this scary guy. I feel like a prisoner, and I'm not okay with that. I look back up. Where's King Cameron? When will he be back? Why are you keeping me in here? The smirk falls off his face, and he stares at me hard. He'll be back when he's back. He asked you to wait for him. You didn't listen, so now I'm here making sure that you do. Am I a prisoner? The guy stares at me. Am I a prisoner? You're being ridiculous. He looks away. I'm not quite sure what gets into me, but I walk to the door, reach behind Scary Guy, and try to pull on the handle. His large hand covers mine on the handle and squeezes painfully. Ow! Get off! I said to stay here. I'm not a prisoner! You can't force me to stay in here with you. Get off of me! You're hurting me! I try to release the doorknob and pull back, but he squeezes even harder on my hand, and I feel like all the bones in my hand are breaking. Ouch! Stop!
The door opens, and for a brief moment, I have no idea what is happening as my hand is released and I stumble backwards. I look around, and King Cameron has Scary Guy up against the wall, his forearm against his throat. He's growling something in his ear, and Scary Guy's face is expressionless as he gives the faintest of nods, his face turning purple. I try not to drool as I look on. King Cameron's entire body is taut, hard muscles bulging against his shirt. A terrifying look on his face as he slowly lets Scary Guy go and watches him leave the bedroom. He says nothing as he passes me, but I can feel his dislike for me as clearly as if he yelled, "I hate you," as he walks by. The door closes and I look at King Cameron again, instinctively taking a step back at the look on his face.